Chapter 23. What were you shouting? Intense heartache accompanied with tears comes up and is crushed by Nina Morrison with her lip bitten. I promise you. It is so hard to say that. Words have not fallen. Tears have flowed like rain. What? Being my mistress makes you so miserable. Lucian Gray feels uncomfortable and says. His pair of bushy handsome eyebrows wrinkles tightly. Nina Morrison bites her lip and does not want to talk to him. Now her heart is in such a mess that she has no mind to say anything to him. Seeing Nina Morrison standing there in a blank, Lucian Gray steps to a table, opens a drawer, takes out a delicate phone and shoves it into Nina's hand. Nina Morrison is shocked and subconsciously struggles. What are you doing? Nina frowns and says, I have a phone. Take it back. Nina Morrison hands Lucian Gray that phone. You should have thrown that stupid phone away. Lucian Gray walks over to the swivel chair. His tall, proud figure shows the most elegant lines and stretches out. This phone has a GPS automatic location system. Wherever you go, I can locate you on my phone. So you have to take it. Nina Morrison is a little angry. What is the difference between that and restraining her? She has decided to sell herself to him, but she is still a free woman, okay. What right does he have to forbid her? Nina Morrison, with a cold face, slams the phone on the table. She stares at Lucian Gray with hatred in her pair of cold big eyes. So you don't want to keep in touch with me? So many women want it but they can't get it. Why are you so sentimental? Lucian Gray frowns, being slightly angered by Nina's indiscretion. When you go to bed at night, tie a fetter on your bed and your wrist, then you will feel what I am feeling now and see if it is comfortable. Nina Morrison blushes with anger and says. Lucian Gray raises his eyebrows and is about to say something. Nina turns and walks toward the door. Her slender waist is suddenly clamped down and a cold wind brushes her cheek. Then a strong sense of suffocation rises. Nina Morrison bounces back. She does not expect, her body cannot grasp the balance and suddenly hits the next bookshelf. It is an open bookshelf crammed with books. Nina's body hit the bookshelf and several books falls off. A photograph floats out of a scattered page. It is a yellowing old picture of a beautiful young girl. Nina is curious and wants to pick it up. But she is chilled by Lucian Gray. Stop. Lucian Gray picks up the photo, wipes the dust off it and slowly clips it back into the pages. There seemed to be some sadness and anger in his eyes. Nina Morrison wants to ask who the girl in the photo is. But Lucian Gray does not give her a chance to ask. He just lifts her up in the air. What are you doing? Get off me. Nina suddenly realizes the vagueness of the gesture and began to struggle. What? You forget what we just agreed. Lucian Gray pulls an evil smile from his mouth. It comes in the end. Staring at Lucian Gray with coldness, Nina Morrison straightens herself and says, Don't touch me. I will walk by myself. Troy. Murmuring this warm name from the bottom of her heart, Nina feels her heart aches all over. Troy, will he forgive her for what she did today? Or he can't look at her with that sunny smile again. Are you afraid? Lucian Gray makes a provocative remark. He tries to keep his voice steady. He does not know why this young girl has aroused all his desires. He has had a variety of women but he never been so nervous like today. Lucian Gray's words inspired Nina Morrison. Since it was decided, just do it. Come on, Nina Morrison, you just treat it as a dream. When you wake up, you are still that clean, pure, good girl who will be under the cherry tree with the best smile to Troy. Taking deep breath again, she reaches out and slowly unbuttons her dress. Lucian Gray's burning eyes are fixed on Nina Morrison. He feels his mouth and tongue dried. She is so close to him, with her pink face. Her eyes are closed tightly. He sees her fear. Scared. My chilly girl. He gets close to her, breathes and says. Some of the hot air sprays on her ear, which makes her shudder. She feels dizzy. All of a sudden, Troy's face suddenly appears in her mind. A deep tingling makes Nina Morrison whisper, Senior Troy. Her heartache is overwhelming and tears stream down. Lucian Gray's movements suddenly stop. With his deep eyes fixed on her tearful eyes, he squeezes Nina's tiny jaw. What were you yelling about? Chapter 24 The Most Disgusting Thing. Nina Morrison opens her tear-soaked eyes and stares at Lucian Gray. Seeing the ineffable pain and pallor in her eyes, in a split second, Lucian Gray knows everything. There is another man lives in her heart. A violent outburst of anger spread through Lucian Gray's body. He would never allow his woman to think about other men. Who the hell is that man? Lucian Gray's furious eyes are almost burning and become red. Nina Morrison, you are my woman. I will not allow you think of another man. Never. As the fiery lips freeze, Lucian's angry thin lips rudely cover Nina's soft skin. Nina instinctively tries to resist. But her hands are clenched by Lucian Gray's hard palm and pressed over her head. Her entire body is crushing on the grand piano. Nina shut her eyes with resignation in the dark chaos. Pain. The intense pain makes Nina tremble all over. The painful memories of that night before a few days and at the dark room of the TS Club cover Nina. His invasion let that terrible nightmare haunt her mind again. Nina's tears roll down her face. The man on her body suddenly stops his action. He grabs Nina's hair, stares at her with dark eyes and says, "Say it. Who did you give it to?" Nina Morrison raises her eyes in pain. Her white face is flushed. What are you talking about? The man's dirty eyes are even angrier and his big palm jerks her jaw. Don't tell me this is your first time. Nina is stunned. This is not really her first time. Her virginity is madly plundered by that mysterious man at that night. Nina's silence confirms Lucian Gray's suspicions. He just heard her yelling about Senior. This man should be the guy who took her for the first time. Lucian Gray suddenly feels that somewhere in his heart is getting sore. But he put forth his strength to fuck her. Nina Morrison bites her lip hard as if it is the only source of strength she could draw. With the ups and downs of the body, the piano is crushed out of confusion sounds. Sounds of percussion mixed with sharp or deep music impact heavily on her heart. She becomes a cheap woman who betrays herself at last. She did the most contemptible, loathsome thing in her life. Nina tries to ignore the tingling of her body. Now that she has chosen to sell herself out, she does not regret it. This is a real world and there is no going back. But under the cherry tree that year, Troy's smiling face is so clear in her mind. With a warm smile like the warmest spring sunshine, it has been into her heart. Even if she was trampled on in the uniform of a waitress, even if that her back would be sore from 3 jobs, as long as she thinks of that smile, she would feel a little sweet in all the suffering. But now she is no longer entitled to that smile. This step is the cut of heaven and the abyss of eternal doom. From then on, she can never look back. Senior Troy, I am sorry. Chapter 25 Exalt. Late at night in the villa, fine crystal chandelier brings luxury bright. Lucian Gray drinks down a glass of red wine with dark eyes like a dangerous cheetah. He just had a bath. There are water drops just like crystal on his forehead and his hair. Then they fall on the white bathrobe. The front chest of his robe is half open. It has the mature man's unique flavor, proud and presumptuous. The bathroom door quietly opens. A seductive figure comes out. Her water-tender face is a faint blush. Her eyes are full of worship to this man while looking at him on the leather sofa. He frowns like he is thinking about something. Lucian, why do you drink alone and not ask me for company? The woman says deliberately in a seductive voice. She throws her arms around his neck. Lucian Gray's face is so cold and forbidding that the whole person seems bloodthirsty. The woman smiles softly, holds out her white fingers and strikes Lucian Gray's eyebrows. Lucian Gray frowns heavily. His thin mouth clenches. He puts down the glass and scans the woman's delicate face with his cold eyes. This face is very beautiful. The facial features are almost perfect. She can be the beauty that all men dream of. But Lucian Gray is not in the mood to appreciate it at the moment. His brain is full of Nina Morrison. Damn it. What kind of poison did he get? All night, Nina's low-pitched, senior, circles in his mind. Who is the man that she is thinking about? While having sex with him, Nina Morrison was thinking about another man. Nina's disdainful glance returns to him. A woman who had lost her virginity dared to despise him. He does not think he is right or wrong to force her to sign the indentured deeds. Now, she has made a mess of his life. Tonight, for example, he should have enjoyed himself. But now, he does not even want to look at the woman in front of him. His life seems beginning to deviate from its original course. This state of affairs is terrible. No, he cannot let this go on. What is your name? Lucian Gray's voice is still cold, with a little impatient. Mr. Gray, my name is Rosie. I just told you. Have you forgotten? The woman says with a delicate voice. Lucian Gray shakes his head to get rid of Nina's shadow. Tonight, he is going to enjoy himself. Take off your clothes. Lucian Gray proudly commands. There is no warmth in his eyes. Rosie stops at once. After a second her heart begins to beat violently and goes into rapture. She was just a third-string star, and she wanted to climb the bed of Lucian Gray for a long time. Who doesn't know how rich Gray is? Besides, he is not only powerful but is generous to women. Being able to spend the night with Lucian Gray, even if she can't be a heroine in a movie he invests in, at least she can get a hefty sleepover. Trying to suppress her excitement, the woman stands gracefully and undresses her bath towel slowly. Chapter 25 Exalt. Late at night in the villa, fine crystal chandelier brings luxury bright. Lucian Gray drinks down a glass of red wine with dark eyes like a dangerous cheetah. He just had a bath. There are water drops just like crystal on his forehead and his hair. Then they fall on the white bathrobe. The front chest of his robe is half open. It has the mature man's unique flavor, proud and presumptuous. The bathroom door quietly opens. A seductive figure comes out. Her water-tender face is a faint blush. Her eyes are full of worship to this man while looking at him on the leather sofa. He frowns like he is thinking about something. Lucian, why do you drink alone and not ask me for company? The woman says deliberately in a seductive voice. She throws her arms around his neck. Lucian Gray's face is so cold and forbidding that the whole person seems bloodthirsty. The woman smiles softly, holds out her white fingers and strikes Lucian Gray's eyebrows. Lucian Gray frowns heavily. His thin mouth clenches. He puts down the glass and scans the woman's delicate face with his cold eyes. This face is very beautiful. The facial features are almost perfect. She can be the beauty that all men dream of. But Lucian Gray is not in the mood to appreciate it at the moment. His brain is full of Nina Morrison. Damn it. What kind of poison did he get? All night, Nina's low-pitched, senior, circles in his mind. Who is the man that she is thinking about? While having sex with him, Nina Morrison was thinking about another man. Nina's disdainful glance returns to him. A woman who had lost her virginity dared to despise him. He does not think he is right or wrong to force her to sign the indentured deeds. Now, she has made a mess of his life. Tonight, for example, he should have enjoyed himself. But now, he does not even want to look at the woman in front of him. His life seems beginning to deviate from its original course. This state of affairs is terrible. No, he cannot let this go on. What is your name? Lucian Gray's voice is still cold, with a little impatient. Mr. Gray, my name is Rosie. I just told you. Have you forgotten? The woman says with a delicate voice. Lucian Gray shakes his head to get rid of Nina's shadow. Tonight, he is going to enjoy himself. Take off your clothes. Lucian Gray proudly commands. There is no warmth in his eyes. Rosie stops at once. After a second her heart begins to beat violently and goes into rapture. She was just a third-string star, and she wanted to climb the bed of Lucian Gray for a long time. Who doesn't know how rich Gray is? Besides, He is not only powerful but is generous to women. Being able to spend the night with Lucian Gray, even if she can't be a heroine in a movie he invests in, at least she can get a hefty sleepover. Trying to suppress her excitement, the woman stands gracefully and undresses her bath towel slowly. Chapter 26 Who You Are With. Lucian Gray tries to get rid of distracting thoughts and the image of the little woman in his mind. At the moment, he just wants to vent. Whoever it is and any woman should do, as long as she can clear his confused mind. Lying idly on the sofa, he slightly closes deep eyes. His iron arms take the woman's waist. But his body is stiff when he touches the woman. Damn it. What is this feeling? Get out. Lucian Gray yanks the woman out of his body and stares at her with his dark eyes. Gray. Gray, you. The woman stares in shock. Lucian Gray's expression is so bad. He finds himself feeling nothing for the woman in front of him. Just because the woman who he wants to touch and wants to keep in his arms now is not her. Damn it. Get out of here. Lucian Gray berates, seizing the woman's still wriggling body and pulling her away from his. His erect body walks to the window and his face is full of anger. He turns on his phone and locates Nina Morrison through the locator system on her wrist. Lucian Gray frowns. It is so late but the GPS shows Nina Morrison is at a flower shop in downtown. What is she doing in the flower shop? Is she buying flowers with that man? The phone rings when Nina Morrison, who is tired and sweating, sits down to rest after managed to cut hundreds of roses and wrap them in tissue paper. It is a strange number. She is confused. Who else would call her this late? Dad should have gone to bed early. Hello. Where are you? A deep voice comes, cold and proud. And you are. Nina Morrison only thinks the voice is familiar. But she is too tired and her brain is shut down to think who it is. Lucian Gray, on the other end of the phone, is choked. The sharp, angular face of him turns to a cold, angry expression. This woman cannot even recognize his voice. Or is there a man around so she pretends she does not know him? There is a moment of silence on the phone. Nina Morrison feels surprised and takes her phone and looks at it, thinking she had heard it wrong. Damn it. Who are you with? Lucian Gray shouts angrily. Nina Morrison just realized who he is. Her delicate brow furrows and she says, "Why do you have my phone number?" Chapter 27 Bold Statements. Lucian Gray is impatient. I warn you to answer my question. Nina Morrison skims her lips. Psycho. She wants to hang up. Don't you dare to hang up. Lucian Gray guesses Nina's thoughts and warns her. Nina's eyebrows furrow and she is tired from working so hard all night that she does not even want to argue with the man. Why would I tell you? Lucian Gray's deep black eyes glow bloodthirsty. Nina Morrison, do not forget our contract. If I find out you are with another man, I'll kill you. Do you understand? Take some medicine if you are sick. Nina Morrison frowns and snaps the phone off. Beep. The sound of the phone hung up seems lonely and unfit during the late night. Lucian Gray holds his cell phone tightly, just like he is holding Nina Morrison. This woman really dares to hang up his phone call. His eyes are cold and dark but he is not sleepy at all. He picks up the suit he has thrown on the sofa, grabs the car keys and walks out the door. In the flower shop, Nina Morrison bandages the last bunch of flowers, packs her things, and is about to close the door. Turning around, she sees a tall figure under the street lights walking toward her from outside. Nina, are you off duty? The guy who is coming over is Nina's classmate Marcus Bell. Ah, Marcus, what are you doing here? Nina touches her forehead, really feeling a headache. She just sends away Lucian Gray and Marcus shows up. Marcus has affection for her though he never directly expresses. But Nina is not a fool, she just does not want to have much to do with Marcus. Nina, you must be tired. I heard Lily says you work here. And I just come by to check on you. Marcus smiles and says, oh, well, I am used to it. I am going to close the door and go home. See you tomorrow. Nina Morrison is rushing to get rid of Marcus. She is really tired now. She just wants to go home and get some sleep. Nina, let me send you home. Here, let me take your bag. Before Nina could refuse, Marcus has her bag in his hand. Oh, thank you. After all, he is a classmate to meet every day and Nina does not want to make it too awkward. There is a Lamborghini parked outside under the tree. Lucian Gray is in the car and his face is so sullen. Is that the man that Nina Morrison called Senior? Lucian Gray's hand grips the steering wheel, almost crushing it. A pair of angry black eyes is fixed on the intimate interaction of the two people in the flower shop. Gently helping Nina Morrison pull down the iron door of the florist, Marcus is happy to be close to her for the first time as he has been chasing her for a long time. Normally, Nina Morrison is cheerful and generous, but always busy. And he hardly ever have chance to be along with her. Today, he must speak out boldly. Nina, you know what? I have loved you for a long time. Marcus looks boldly at Nina's clear eyes. Oh, well, Nina Morrison could not think of a way to gently turn him down. In Lucian Gray's eyes, her awkward is just shy and intense. An envy sweeps through his brain. Lucian Gray could not bear it any longer. He gets out of his car and slams the door. Chapter 28. There's nothing to tell. Lucian Gray, with a sudden arrival, stuns Nina and Marcus at the florist entrance. Nina Morrison panics when she sees Lucian Gray's bloodthirsty eyes fixed on Marcus. She knows Lucian's temper well. He is a crazy man. Marcus, run. Nina Morrison stops Lucian Gray and shouts back at Marcus. Marcus, who is also a big guy, but he is still a little green compared to Lucian Gray. Lucian Gray's thick eyebrows are even tighter. His hands are held tightly and his knuckles are white. He is so angry. Nina Morrison, are you defending your adulterer? Marcus looks at Lucian Gray and he is a little confused. Before he could respond, he has been punched in the face. Lucian Gray, like an angry lion, struck out with another blow and Marcus's eyes suddenly turned blue. Lucian Gray, what are you doing? You are insane. Nina gets in front of Marcus. With her pair of bright eyes covered with a mist of water, Nina's staring at Lucian Gray. Does he still think her life is not messy enough? Lucian Gray's chest is blocked. Nina Morrison is so obviously defending Marcus that his dark eyes narrow dangerously, and he say, Nina Morrison, get out of the way before I beat you up. Marcus takes 2 punches for no apparent reason and he is also angry. He clenches his fist and rushes toward Lucian Gray. Lucian Gray gives a cold smile and a thunderous hook swing. As he was about to hit Marcus in the face, Nina could not take so much care of herself. She jumps between the 2 men and the heavy fist lands hard on her face. Nina feels dizzy and heat fluid coming out from her nose, and then she faints. In the clean VIP room in the hospital, Lucian Gray, frowning, sits by the bed and looks at Nina Morrison. Her face is pale, and her lips are also retreating pink tender. The pale makes him feel heartache. Heartache. Lucian Gray is awakened by the word. Heartache. Is this feeling of clinging in his heart heartache? Lucian's dark eyes are a little confused. To him, women are always like clothes. Being worn out and thrown away. How did he ever feel heartache about women? He feels confusion in the mind. This little woman has completely messed up his life. Nina Morrison wakes up with her water eyes slowly opening. And she just sees Lucian's eyes. Lucian Gray's eyes are soft, and Nina Morrison thinks she is dazzled. She rubs her eyes and looks into Lucian Gray's eyes again. Sure enough, Lucian's eyes have no tenderness but only proud and indifferent. Nina Morrison pats herself in the chest fearfully and thinks, the tenderness of the moment was just my blinding sight. What would Lucian Gray do besides being conceited and using brute force? Lucian Gray is startled by the sudden opening of Nina's eyes. He just covers up his emotions and asks coldly, "You are awake? Who was the man last night?" "Nina Morrison fainted yesterday. He just called the emergency medication and left the man on the ground without asking him who he was." Nina Morrison sighs when she heard the question. What the hell is wrong with this man? She turns her head away and ignores Lucian Gray. She has nothing to say to such an unreasonable person. Chapter 29. Strangely relaxed. Nina's attitude makes Lucian Gray feel angry. His big hand grabs her chin, twists her head hard and turns her face toward him. "Speak. Do not test my patience." Lucian Gray's patience is running out. "Does this have anything to do with you?" "Let go." Nina Morrison glares at him. "It is none of my business." Lucian Gray smiles grimly and says, "Do not forget that you are my mistress. A mistress must obey the rules." Mistress. She is his mistress. It is ridiculous to ask for dignity. Nina Morrison thinks she is stupid. Who does she think she is? She is just a mistress. With her white teeth clenches against her pale lips, Nina Morrison raises her eyes and her voice sounds horribly cold. "Yes, I am just a mistress. I should not have dignity or freedom. I am poor and mean, so I deserve to be your booty call. I deserve to be bullied violently by you. It is the greatest blessing of my life to be seen by someone like President Gray. I should be obedient. You let me go east and I can't go west. If you say it is sunny and I can't say it is raining. Right." Lucian Gray's face is slashed by the sharp words of her. He fixes his gaze on Nina Morrison, being shocked by a sense of brainwashing. What is this little woman talking about? No one has dared to speak to Gray in that tone since he accepted his estate at the age of 18. Her words were such sharp irony and unbridled. Besides, it came from a seemingly weak little girl. The tall and proud man has been looking at her for a while and the corners of his mouth suddenly make a smile. That smile is so cold, as if he is an evil from the hell. "Who gives you the guts to talk to me like that, Nina Morrison? Don't forget, your father, Barry Morrison, is still lying on the bed which prepared for him by me. All the drugs and doctors are arranged by me. I do not need to move a finger at all and he will die." Lucian Gray's crooked smile is like the devil of hell. "What do you want?" Nina Morrison quivers, trying to suppress her fears. Lucian Gray looks down at her, squints his eyes and moves his finger slightly to raises her chin. "You are a smart woman. I mean, you know, from this day on, you must obey my 10 rules of terms of mistress." Terms of mistress. Nina Morrison stares at him. Her little face is white and her watery eyes are almost full of mist. Rule number 1. From today, you quit all your part-time jobs and move to the Gray's mansion. Rule number 2. Wherever you go, make sure you report to me first and get my approval. Rule number 3. Never lie to me. These 3 are for the time being, and the other 7 will be added soon. Lucian Gray's tone does not allow any objections from Nina Morrison. Nina Morrison lowers her head. Her long silky hair slid down her face, blocking her expression. Lucian Gray's heart is softened. Lucian Gray moves away her hair, comes close to her beautiful face and whispers in her ear, "Now, tell me, who was the man last night? Is it the senior you are obsessed with?" "Senior. Troy Roger." Nina's heart snaps. Senior Troy has disappeared from her life. Perhaps they will no longer have any intersection. With a sad smile in her eyes, Nina Morrison says, "No. He is just an ordinary classmate of mine." Lucian Gray's dark eyes are fixed on Nina Morrison as if to see her heart. In Nina's eyes, Lucian Gray sees nothing but indifference. So, she is not lying. Lucian's heart is strangely relaxed. Chapter 30. What am I inferior to her? The sea city looks particularly beautiful on summer nights. Row by row of tall buildings, busy streets and lanes, lights red wine green, everything seems quiet and comfortable. The warm, moist evening breeze, with a hint of gardenia aroma, blows in the car window from outside. The Lamborghini is headed to the shantytown where Nina Morrison lives. Nina Morrison, I will give you 10 minutes to say goodbye to your stepmother and your sister, and then get out right away. Lucian Gray's tone is too harsh to refuse. 10 minutes. I have to pack my things. Nina looks at Lucian Gray unhappily. Her eyes were blue and purple and she looked miserable. Lucian Gray is soft. His voice is still cold as ice. 15 minutes. If it is longer than that, I can't sure what will happen. You tyrant, devil, psycho, megalomaniac. Nina Morrison secretly curses, rolling her eyes at Lucian Gray. Nina Morrison, do not forget who you are. Lucian Gray, noticing Nina's movements in the rear-view mirror, cautions coldly. Nina Morrison sighs. Never mind, it is better not to challenge such an unreasonable people. Lucian Gray pulls a satisfying smile from the corner of his mouth when she sees Nina Morrison not talking and says, Women, you'd better to be well behaved. At the door of Nina's house, Lucian Gray frowns. Nina Morrison, you live here. Although Ryan had reported to him that the Morrison family lived in low squatter settlements, Lucian Gray had no idea that the environment of the squatter settlements would be so bad. The sewage is everywhere, the garbage is piled up and flies are buzzing around. This can't be a place for people to live. Nina Morrison, glancing down Lucian Gray's eyes at the squalid, low shantytown, shrugs and smiles. Where does President Gray think I should live? In a 5-star hotel? Or in a villa at the seaside? Lucian Gray's tall body stands out in the slums and his Lamborghini catches the eye of passers-by. Aunt Lauren, your daughter brought a rich man back. Outside the door, a fat housewife shouts to Nina's stepmother. Lucian Gray frowns. The stench of the dump passes and he is dying of the smell. Nina Morrison, go and say goodbye. I will give you 15 minutes. His words have not finished and Doris, Lauren and Grace have come out. Grace seldom comes back and just gets home today. Hearing Nina brought a rich man back, she hurries out to look on. Seeing Lamborghini outside, Grace's eyes are lit up. Next to Lamborghini stands a tall, proud man with a handsome face. The air of a king is around him everywhere. Isn't he Lucian Gray? Grace is so jealous that she goes crazy in her heart. She calculates everything for herself and is finally beaten by Nina. Lucian Gray has seen her. Will he recognize her? If he does, maybe that night's story will be revealed. If Lucian Gray goes on, it is not hard to know that Nina Morrison is the one slept with him that night. Grace peers nervously at Lucian Gray. Nina Morrison has to introduce him to her stepmother and her sister. Aunt Lauren, sister, this is Lucian Gray. I borrowed money from him for Dad's medication. Borrowed. Lauren sneers. You sold yourself to him. Why is this naughty girl so lucky to meet Lucian Gray? Lucian Gray has no taste and such blind to throw her out of the office the other day, but likes this stupid girl. Lucian Gray does not look at Doris and her daughter at all. He is not interested in this kind of slum women. With a cold nod, Lucian Gray returns to the car. He is unable to breathe because of the stench of the rubbish heap. Nina, is not that man out there rich? Doris looks at Nina Morrison with her bright eyes. Unexpectedly, this wench looks like a stubborn girl is so clever to get such a rich man. Aunt Lauren, I just want to pack my things. Nina Morrison heads down to her room. She hates Doris's tone. Grace, you are useless. You see, even Nina can catch rich people. You are prettier than her and you are better than her. Why can't you get along with a rich man? Doris says. Who knows where she gets her luck from? Grace touches her long hair. The money Lucian Gray gave her last time has been gambled all away by her. Or she will not come back to this slum house. Leaning obliquely against the door, Grace holds her hands to her chest and looks at Nina Morrison, who is packing. Are you moving in to live with Lucian Gray? Live with Lucian Gray. Sounds harsh. Nina Morrison bites her lip, feeling a little sad. If it is possible, she would like to be like other ordinary girls, living a normal life. She would not like to be a secret mistress, being used and bullied all day long. If possible, maybe she can see Troy again. Maybe she will marry him and have a beautiful baby, living a happy life rather than being despised like today. Seeing Nina Morrison not talking, Grace turns her eyes and comes up with an idea. Nina, can I come and see you often? Of course you can. Nina Morrison is touched. She has not expected that Grace will still miss her. The phone in the jeans pocket suddenly rings. Hello. What's the matter? Nina Morrison. It is 15 minutes. Get out. Lucian Gray's voice contains anger. All right. I see. I'm coming out now. Nina Morrison picks up her bag and walks out the door. Her clothes are few and her bag is not heavy. Aunt Lauren. Sister, I am leaving. I will come back to see you later. Nina Morrison says goodbye to them. Looking at the shabby layout of the house, she suddenly feels a little sad. Well, go. Do not make the president wait. Doris hurries to push Nina Morrison toward the door. She does not want to offend the rich man out there. She may need their favor. As she walks quickly to the car, Nina Morrison looks back at her low house and gets into the car with the bag. Throw it away. Lucian Gray drops a word and turns the steering wheel gracefully away from the damp, dark shantytown. Throw it away. Throw what? Nina Morrison does not understand. Lucian Gray raises his eyebrows, grabs the bag from Nina Morrison and brushes it out the window. What are you doing? There are my clothes in it. Nina Morrison is furious. Why does this man always be so bossy and never care about what others think? I will take you to buy some new. Lucian Gray proudly says. You are embarrassing me by wearing those clothes. My woman can't be so shabby. My woman. For some reason, Nina Morrison suddenly feels a faint throb. She has been feeling lonely since her father was ill. Lucian Gray's words give her the illusion that she can count on someone. Although, that person, just her sex lover, a gold lord. At largest shopping mall of Sea City. Today is weekend and shopping malls are filled with many people. Among the hustle and bustle of the crowd, Lucian Gray's tall and straight figure and his handsome face often attract the attention of others. Wow, that man is so handsome. Is he a famous star? Why haven't I seen him on TV? Shall we go and ask for an autograph? Oh, I dare not. There is a girlfriend next to him. His girlfriend looks so ordinary. Yes, she is not even good enough for him. Can she be his housekeeper? It is supposed to be a housekeeper. How can such a handsome man like such a normal girl? Several little girls in high school uniforms walk around 6 times, looking at Lucian Gray and Nina Morrison and whispering from time to time. Housekeeper. Nina Morrison is spitting blood. Is she looked like so bad? She looks at hers and Lucian Gray's shadow in the window of the nearby shop window. She wears ordinary white t-shirt and comfortable wide loose ordinary black shorts, and a pair of sports shoes. It is refreshing but, yes, ordinary. Very ordinary. Lucian Gray, however, wears a well-tailored casual suit and has handsome cheeks. He is as elegant as a prince. With him walking next to her, she does look like a housekeeper. Girls passing by cast their eyes on Lucian Gray, and Nina Morrison feels uncomfortable that walking around a mall with so many people staring at her, as if she is a monkey which is being watched in the zoo. Lucian Gray, however, could not feel it at all. He walks leisurely and stops sometimes to look. In the end, he even enters in an adult sex shop. Nina Morrison tries to pretend she does not know him. As Lucian Gray walks toward the sex shop, Nina quietly steps back and turns away in silence. There is a bookstore in the mall. Not so many people scatter in twos and threes. Nina Morrison looks at the book, World Art Appreciation, on the shelf. This book, Troy had given her one. Nina Morrison opens the page and reads. The young man's voice rings again in her ears. Nina, look how talented you are. If you keep learning, you will be a famous international painter. Nina Morrison does not really like painting. But for his words, she studied painting for 3 years. Until her dad's business went bankrupt and she could not afford the course. Nina, I like your sketches. Everyone in there seems to have a noble soul. Noble soul. Troy, I can't paint that anymore, because my soul has been sold to the devil. Looking at the familiar pages of the book, she seems to be back at the spring 3 years ago. Under the cherry tree, Troy held a picture book with her. The breeze blew and the cherry blossoms fell on the books, on the ground and on her hair. Troy gently took the blossoms from her hair and put them in his bag. His eyes are brighter than the stars. President, the department store is doing the second phase of sales. There are many brands are actively contacting us, and the situation is good. Well, the brand that is going to be in our store should have to be strictly selected and I will approve them before finalized. Yes, sir. The gentle male voice rings outside the quiet bookstore. It is so familiar. Nina Morrison turns in a daze and sees a group of well-dressed men walking along with a young and elegant man. They are talking about business. Wearing simple shirt with black trousers, the young man's body is decorated with incomparable tall and straight. While listening to the reports of subordinates, he slightly nods. His face always hangs light, elegant smile. Troy Roger. It turns out this mall is Roger's. Nina's eyes are widened and her throat is bitter. Feeling Nina's gaze, Troy suddenly turns to her side. Nina Morrison startles, instinctively turns around, and drops down the book and runs. Miss, your book. Troy Rogers says politely. Nina's head is blank. She does not know where to run. At this moment, how can she meet Troy Roger? Luckily there is a big bookshelf nearby. Nina Morrison in a hurry hides behind it. Her heart beats so fast that never happened before. Footsteps are coming. Nina's heart is in her throat. Her hands are full of sweat. For a long time, at the other end of the shelf there is silence. It is so quiet that only the hum of air conditioning could be heard. Nina Morrison hears someone asking, President, what is wrong with the book? Why are you staring at it? Troy's gentle voice reaches her ear. Nothing, I just think of a friend. Friend. Nina Morrison covers her mouth and tears suddenly flow without warning. Troy, does he remember her? He did not forget her, right? It is not the president's ex-girlfriend, is it? Someone is poking fun around. What are you talking about? The president is getting engaged. The other man retorts. Really? Is the date set? We will give our presents. People all around are fawning on him. Troy Roger just smiles softly and does not say anything. He puts the book back on the shelf. Come on, sir. I will walk you upstairs again. All right. The footsteps of them go away. He is getting engaged. There is a sudden pain in her heart, like cut by a sharp knife. It seems to be able to hear the sound of blood flowing out. The tears roll down. Nina Morrison weeps silently against the bookshelf and pain trickles down her heart as if to engulf her completely. The phone rings. Nina Morrison wipes her tears and clears her throat. She is trying to sound like nothing happened. Hello. Before she finishes, she hears Lucian Gray's growl on the other end of the phone. Nina Morrison. Where the hell have you been? Is it necessary for him to speak so harshly? Nina Morrison, wiping tears from her cheeks, says as if nothing had happened, I am just hanging out. Are you still there? I am coming to see you. She does not want to go into the adult sex shop. It is embarrassing. After a moment of silence on the phone, the cold voice rings again. What are you crying about? Nina Morrison freezes and looks around in amazement. Lucian Gray stands at the back shelf looking at her, wearing a headset and carrying several shopping bags in both hands. It seems he has bought a lot at the adult sex shop. Nina Morrison does not know what to say. So she lowers her head and flusters the tears off her face. This man, he is standing right behind her. Why he still calls her on the phone? Does he mean to make jokes about her? She wonders if he just saw Troy Roger. Nina Morrison probes into Lucian Gray's eyes. There is no emotion in Lucian Gray's eyes. Fortunately, Nina Morrison is secretly relieved that he did not see Troy. Or he would not have the calm look on his face right now. Lucian Gray steps toward Nina Morrison with a cold face. His eyes as deep as a pool. What are you crying about? Oh, nothing. My eyes suddenly catch the sands, says Nina Morrison as she wipes her tears. There are tears on her long eyelashes and her pale face is full of despair. It looks pitiful, unlike the image of her normal style of a naughty cat. Rule number 3. Never lie to me. You forgot. Lucian Gray's thick eyebrows winkle dangerously. Nina Morrison could not look him in the eye. She has to change the subject and says, Lucian, what did you just buy? What did you just call me? Lucian Gray's eyes suddenly light up. Nina Morrison has always called him, hey, or ironically, President Gray. For the first time, Nina Morrison calls him by name. Nina Morrison gets a little spooked by Lucian Gray's eyes. She keeps her head down and can't speak with guilty. Damn it. Why would she be guilty? Why does she feel like meeting her adulterer and being caught in bed? Lucian Gray thinks she is shy and he is in a good mood to see Nina Morrison being shy. Fondly kneading her hair, Lucian Gray takes her into his arms and hugs her tightly. Nina Morrison is forced to lean against his chest. Lucian Gray's heart beats strongly and powerfully. It is so calm, like the safest haven in the world. Nina's heart touched slightly and her aversion to Lucian Gray seems less intense. Her sadness even slowly goes down. For the first time, Nina Morrison feels Lucian Gray's arms are so warm that she forgets all the cold. People come and go. A lot of people around them look at them curiously. Nina Morrison is embarrassed. She pushes Lucian Gray's waist. Instead of letting go, Lucian holds Nina even tighter. His jaw rubs against her hair. His lips press against her ears and he whispers, "Shish. Don't move." His voice is low and gentle. His warm breath fell on her neck. It is a little itchy. The sun shines through the window and sprinkles on the two people, a tall and handsome man, and a small and beautiful girl. The golden light is dancing, as beautiful as a painting. Unfortunately, Nina's fondness for Lucian Gray ends after this hug. Nina's fondness for Lucian Gray goes straight to zero when she returns to the Gray mansion to sort out the purchases. Lucian Gray bought her a lot of clothes. The coats look perfectly normal. But the pile of sleeping skirts and underwear turned Nina's face into a red tomato. Lucian Gray. You. Nina Morrison leave the pile. Her white face flushes. What are you pretending? This is not your first time. Go and take a bath and dress these clothes. Hurry up. Lucian Gray has regained his cool and pride. The words pierce Nina's heart like a knife. You are a pervert. Nina gives him a hard look and turns to walk upstairs. Only a bad woman wears that dress, okay. She is ashamed to death. Rule number 4. Serve your master. Especially in bed. Unless you want your father die. Lucian Gray drops that phrase and walks to the bedroom. After a bath, put on that underwear and lie down on the queen bed. He adds that and succeeds in seeing Nina's face turn from red to white. Nina Morrison has washed slowly and tries to delay time in a large bathroom. Looking at the black underwear that is made up by only a few ropes on the bathroom bench, she feels uncomfortable. Lucian Gray, you big psycho, pig. Nina Morrison curses in her heart. The bathroom window is large. There is a manicured lawn outside. If she climbs the window to escape, she would no longer have to endure Lucian Gray. The thought of running through the window stays in Nina's head. But can she? According to the doctor, the full physical examination has been done for her dad. If the operation is successful and the later period also recovered well, he is completely able to recover. How could she give up the chance to cure her father? It is just being a mistress for 3 years. She can take it. She can do anything for her beloved father. Forget it. Since she can't choose, then face it. She can endure the fatigue of 4 jobs, the scolding and abuse of others, just as well as Lucian Gray. Nina, come on. Nina Morrison decides to turn off the sprinklers. She dries the drops with a soft bath towel. Going to the bathroom bench, her fingers stretches toward the black transparent nightdress. The door of the bathroom is knocked. There was a deep voice from Lucian Gray outside. Nina Morrison, do you need an hour to take a bath? Come out of there. She cannot delay anymore. Nina Morrison stands up and tries to pull the dress down, hoping to cover herself a little more. What the hell are you doing? Come out. Lucian Gray's voice is already full of anger. Taking a deep breath, Nina Morrison gets up and walks toward the door. Her long fingers are trembling. Reach toward the door lock. The door is open. The moment he saw Nina, Lucian Gray's dark eyes are blazing. He walks into Nina and gently lifts her chin with his index finger. Look at me. Nina Morrison is too ashamed to open her eyes. Her long lashes flutter and cast a fan-shaped shadow over the face. It is unbearable. Lucian Gray leans over her. His hot lips burning with the heat of fire and gnaw at Nina's lips. Lucian Gray takes a deep breath. Jesus. He really likes it. The next day, the soft morning light comes through the window and the room remains the lingering smell of yesterday. On the soft queen bed, the slim little girl lies quietly. Her long eyelashes cast a beautiful shadow over her delicate face. Nina Morrison wakes up with a soreness that reminds her of last night. Her face is instantly flushed and her hands cover her hot face. Nina Morrison looks sideways secretly. Lucian Gray sleeps soundly. He looks so handsome. He is sleeping as peace as a child, with his mouth seems to hang a smile. The man is not so bad when he is not angry. Morrison looks at Lucian Gray's sleeping face. So, am I handsome? Lucian Gray, who is sleeping with his eyes closed, makes a sudden noise that scares Nina Morrison to the other end of the bed. Nina Morrison regretted about her obsession very much. She wants to pull the sheet cover herself in panic. But it is already late. Lucian Gray is falling upon her. Inside the room, there is a beautiful scene.